With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Back to the Frame Rate, where we watch and discuss films on VOD and streaming platforms for your entertainment. I'm your host, Nathan Schur, and I'm here with Ellie Escobar, Sam Cole, and Brianna Butterworth.
Hola, 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 hola. ¿Cómo están?
How is everybody doing this week?
Muy bien.
We're so good.
Excellent day. Well, we are continuing on to our third episode.
Have I told you guys how much I love you all?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I love you all.
We love you too, Ellie. Thank you for letting us know. I wasn't feeling very loved this week, but now I am.
Speaking of something that did not get love, I do feel a little bad for the Marvels. Really like tanking at the box office, and I understand and
yeah.
I guess I'm glad that audiences are selective. I do like Brie Larson, and I just feel bad for the viciousness of people. Everyone is like, and it's like, come on, guys, like it's not like to be celebrated, you know.
It is, it is an interesting topic, and I don't think we'll get into it deep here, but
no.
The entire comic book fatigue, it would be an interesting discussion at some point because, I haven't seen the Marvels yet and I do want to see it, but I'm not in a major rush. And I feel like I am part of the fatigue that's going on. I have not even started Loki season 2. I'm not in a rush. Secret Invasion really, really was a grind to get through. I did finish it, but I hated every minute of it. And
I won't go into detail, but there was a brief article from a film analysis firm, and they said they think part of the thing might be there's so many Disney Plus shows that people feel they have to watch to I can't keep up with all of this. You know what I mean? It's like there's too much content all over the place.
When Disney Plus launched, it was really quantity over quality. I feel like they had to fill their platform with product, and it really did dilute the product. And I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said 1,000 times already, but it really has. I think there have been a couple shows that have been decent. I really did enjoy WandaVision and Loki season 1, and there's a couple others that I got something out of. But no, I mean, I think they're in a tailspin right now, and I think now that the Marvels has officially tanked and bombed at this point, it even performed horribly in China, which was something they hoped that would do pretty well. It is, you're probably going to see in the next week reassessment somehow. Now, I think going forward, there are some properties that I think still might do well. I think Deadpool 3, I think is still going to do very well when that comes out. But I think the legacy characters, I think Captain Marvel, and I think, I don't know what other property, like when they reboot the X-Men and Fantastic Four, I think you'll see some new interest in what they do.
Yeah.
But some of these older characters from the old guard, I think the audiences are ready to move on from. That's just what I feel. But
there isn't urgency to to see it. But I don't know. I feel bad because great talented people. Yeah. But again, didn't feel a rush to see it either.
Carlos coming out of the cinema said, "I think I know why there's not selling. And I said, why? Because it's 3 women. The main character is 3 women, and most people are used to having the, male testosterone in the films, And so he was like, it probably is because it's 3 women in the film, and so I was like,
there very likely could be something to that.
Maybe.
But Wakanda Forever was like a mostly woman cast that had an $185 million opening weekend. You know what I mean? Like there's something, I don't think it's just that. I mean, I could see it being a factor, but there's just seems to be a lack of, I'm just surprised because they have such a built-in audience. Like it wasn't like that didn't do as well. It was like a, whoa, I just was
I think that also was another, benchmark moment where you could see things going downhill after from Wakanda Forever. We don't have to get too much into this. I think we could always do maybe a bonus show where we talk about, the Marvel, the MCU. One other thing I want to mention, we weren't going to really do a big news segment, is that the SAG strike is over. That's a huge thing that happened in the past week. And by the time this episode airs, it'll be kind of old news, but it's really great to see that actors are getting back to work. And, 118-day strike, for the most part, from what I've read, the actors got a lot of what they were asking for in this. And it's a shame that this had to go on so long, but I'm really happy to see, I think all of us happy to see that this is over. Ellie, you are the actor among us. Do you have anything you can shed some light on about this? Have you talked to some friends in the industry that they have anything to say about this?
No, I have not talked to anyone really about the SAG, the strike ending, but I think the negotiations have been, and I think that there were some good things coming out of that negotiation. I still like to, they've been talking about it and they've said it's over, but I would like to see the negotiation document. Like, I mean, you can tell us this is what's happened. I want to see it in writing, because until it's not in writing, I don't. It's hard to believe, But I think that there are good things coming out. I really love what what's her name, Drescher? Yeah. What she did, she really gave it to them, and I think she's a feisty woman, and I love her attitude towards the CEOs, and I think that it's gonna be good. I think we'll have a good chance to, get what we need. But I like to see it in writing. I have to check the website. I don't know if it's there yet, but hopefully they'll put it up there. But
I haven't seen like the whole agreement written. I haven't sought out yet. I haven't had time to probably read it, even if I did come across it. But I'm just happy that we've passed this. And it's,
I do want to understand it because in social media, so many people tell you so many different things about what's going on. It's really scary, and the best thing that you can do as an actor is go to the SAG-AFTRA website and get the info straight from them, rather than rely on what any actor tells you or any social media tells you, because you'll get misinformation that way. So
good point, Ellie. Yeah, so that's where people should be going for the details of this agreement. It sounds like. Don't listen to us. Go to the website. Yes.
Yeah, done.
All right, great. All right, let's get to what everyone is here for, really, and we're going to be talking about the third film in our 80s neo-noir retrospective. We are going to be talking about the 1984 Brian De Palma film Body Double, and I'm going to play a clip from the trailer for this.
He thought he was watching her, but she was watching him. He thought he was trespassing, but he was invited. He knew he had gone too far. He couldn't stop. He saw exactly what she wanted him to see.
this must have been before Don LaFontaine was working, right? Because he obviously would have been doing the voiceover if he was employed by working by that. Because whoever was doing this, I don't know, it does not work.
It should have been Gilbert Godfrey.
Anybody. I know it's odd trailer. It doesn't really scream erotic thriller. But anyways, so
they should have me done that voice narration.
Ellie, you would have been perfect. You were sharing some audio clips with us this past week.
I know,
and I have them queued up here. No, I'm only kidding. I should. Well, before we continue, I'm just going to read a quick plot synopsis of Body Double. After losing an acting role and his girlfriend, Jake Scully, played by Craig Wasson, finally catches a break. He gets offered a gig house sitting in the Hollywood Hills. While peering through a beautiful home's telescope one night, he spies a gorgeous blonde, played by Deborah Shelton, dancing in her window. But when he witnesses the girl's murder, it leads Scully through the netherworld of the adult entertainment industry in search for answers, with porn actress Holly Body, played by Melanie Griffith, as his guide. And I was about to mention a few things about this, but Sam, I'm going to leave that to you to tell us some of the movie facts.
So, in the great year of 1984, when The Temple of Doom and The Muppets Take Manhattan was released, Brian De Palma was also hard at work with Body Double. This came out in October of 84, the same weekend that a little film called The Terminator, directed by James Cameron,
Never heard of
released. Yeah, me neither. It's I might see it one day, but so it was written by Robert Avreck, who had written The Devil's Arithmetic, and Brian De Palma. They collaborated together. The DP was actually Stephen H. Barham, who also would collaborate with Brian De Palma 2 years later on The Untouchables. He did The War of the Roses, which looks excellent, by the way, and Mission Impossible, which also I really like the way it's shot. It was distributed by Columbia, had a budget of $10 million, box office of over $8 million, so not a huge success, but sort of broke even. Couple of things about the production, actually. The film was initially given an X rating by the Motion Picture Association of America. Because many theaters actually refused to show X-rated films, De Palma actually had to re-edit the film, as he also had to do the same on Dress to Kill and Scarface. And so De Palma cut what he called a few minor things from the porno movie scene and secured an R rating. And it certainly is a hard R. It was shot entirely in California. And just some interesting facts. Jamie Lee Curtis, Tatum O'Neal, and Carrie Fisher were initially considered for the Holly Body role, which Carrie Fisher would have been interesting. The film within a film, Vampire's Kiss, became the title of the '88 horror comedy starring Nicolas Cage. And actually, as things often happen in post-production, during editing, De Palma realized he didn't like Shelton's voice, so he dubbed her with Helen Shaver, of all things. Multiple adult film actors ended up in the final cut. Annette Haven, another actress De Palma wanted for Holly Body, has a cameo in the Relax sequence. Also, Michael Cairns, Lindsay Freeman, and Cara Lott, who were billed under different names. So very interesting production there. And I just want to point out, this came out a year after Scarface, directly following Scarface. And so I was thinking about that in terms of production size and where his head was kind of shifted over from like epic to more like sort of intimate, smaller scale movie. But yeah, some interesting tidbits about Body Double. Yeah,
De Palma had a pretty good run as well. I love this era for him. I mean, I think he did Blowout. Was that with John Travolta? And Dress to Kill was another one around this a few years before that. He had a 3-movie run that is my favorite, one of my favorite eras from him. And right after this, he does my favorite De Palma movie, The Untouchables. So the mid 80s
Love The Untouchables.
Is peak De Palma for me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we'll get to my opinion on Body Double shortly. But we're going to start with Ellie, and your track record for our 80s neo-noir hasn't been, maybe the best, but we're going to start with you tonight. So I'm looking forward to your thoughts.
Well, what can I say? Okay. Yes, it has not been my month with movies. All of the movies up to now have been Cheetos cheesy. And I have to say, this movie kind of intrigued me. I think this is the first movie that I actually felt that, okay, I can get, I didn't feel annoyed like as I did with the other ones. I didn't fall asleep, which is a good thing. And it really intrigued me from the very beginning. And I thought that, from the very beginning, when it opens up and he's in that, he's a vampire. And, there's parts of this movie that are so funny. They're funny, painfully funny, but there's obviously sex. All these movies have that element of sex, don't they? And then all of these movies, and all of these movies shows the female in her nakedness. And
we did get full frontal Richard Gere.
Okay, but very far away. Okay, but I don't even. Okay, no, I'm not gonna get into it. But the thing is, for this particular film, I actually enjoyed it. And then there was okay. I have a bone to pick with this filmmaker because I'm Native American, and he made the Indian the bad guy. Like, I did not like that part. I didn't like that. And they call him
the Indian.
Call him Indian, yeah.
Like, why? Like, I guess because back in the era, anyway, back in the 80s, I guess that was like, but so I'm like, why did they just have an Indian? And he was so ugly, and you could tell that it was like,
I hear you, Elliot. Why did it have to? Why did it have to be an indigenous person? Why did it have to be? There's a lot of problems I had with that, not just because of the poor makeup, I thought, but we'll get into that. But go ahead.
And I was kind of like, that's kind of
story wise, also.
Yeah, that's kind of like offensive, and not only that, but the indigenous person, it's like, the indigenous makeup, whatever.
I actually didn't even know it was supposed to be indigenous. I just thought it was just like this weird looking guy. I didn't know
like
what
some
ethnicity.
Kind
yeah.
of.
I right away. I knew
until they called him out as Indian. I didn't even know like that he was supposed to be.
No, see, I knew from the get-go when the first time he appeared. I'm like, why do they have an Indian looking man running around chasing this woman and being the bad guy? Like, I didn't. And then when they call him Indian, I mean, it didn't surprise me because I already knew they were going for that sort of makeup. But, up until that, so everything was good. I think I love the car that he drives. And I love the color. I used to have a sub, the same exact color. And very flashy. I'm a flashy person. I like flashy colors. As you can tell, my wall in my living room. This is my dining room. Like, all my rooms have different color, vivid colors. But there's no romance. As I couldn't find any romance in any of these films. To me, there is no romance.
The romance plot in this is weird.
It's weird, but it's like he's just like what do I want to say? It's just like I feel like there's just a man who is a pervert looking through the friggin', telescope, watching a movie. I'm not a fan of Melanie Griffith. Griffith, is that her name? I'm not a fan of her.
Griffith, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I have my favorite actresses, and she's not one of my favorites. And I think she was funny though. She was funny. She had those funny moments when she was just talking to herself going down the stairs, and she's like, "These freaking directors, like, they want this and they want that, and they just want you for this." And then when she's in the burying her, she did come in with a funny sort of air, and I really liked that. But I'm not a fan of hers. But and then that mall scene. By the way, I don't know if you guys caught this, but she goes to get her car back, right? And that's disgusting. How you pick up an underwear from a trash barrel? Hello, no, duh. And how obvious is it? He couldn't even
You know what's funny? Not to interrupt, but like when that scene happens, like, and he's standing there at the valet and he's looking at that trash can, I'm like, don't do it, buddy. Don't do it. Don't do it. We did it.
I was the same way. I'm like, he's not going to pick it up. Is he going to pick it up? And then it's so obvious because she's right there. And I know she sees him, following her. But there was so when she goes to get her car to the valet and says, I don't know if you heard, it's the green car. She says, it's the green car. And I'm like, it's not green, it's yellow. It's like lemon yellow.
I think cream car, she says. I don't know why I remember this. The cream.
Did she say cream? I thought she said green.
I think cream. But whatever.
Maybe it's cream. Yeah. So I was like, wait, is that a glitch? But overall, I have to say, this is the one movie that I actually did like of all the movies we've been watching. So the Palma? Kudos to him for actually making something that I actually enjoy. It was funny. I love the part where he's an actor and he's in acting class and the teacher is yelling, and I'm thinking like, dude, I once had a teacher like that yelled at me like that. It was ridiculous.
Ellie, was he as handsy as that teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I was like,
that teacher's like,
there's gotta be something wrong. I was like, but
that teacher got to second base.
Yeah. And this is when I first started acting, and it's like one of my very first acting classes, and I'm like, wait, I don't think this is supposed to be like this. I never went back. I was just like, I'm done with this. This is weird. And I think he maybe watched Body Double, and he learned from, because he wasn't even a great coach. So yeah, I think it had a lot of elements that I really enjoyed, from the guy running and the guy like having claustrophobia, which I understand because I'm claustrophobic myself. I don't like tight spaces because then I feel my heart races. And I thought he did a really great job portraying that claustrophobia. I really the way he did it. But overall, I really liked it. Do you want me to rate it now or later?
Yes. What would you give it from 1 to 5?
So for this movie, being that every other movie I've seen was more like a half of 1 star, okay? For this movie, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it and watched it from beginning to the end really happily. I will give it an 8.
Out of 5? 1 to 5?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Wow. Greatest movie ever.
Of course, I would give it an 8. Okay, I would give it a 4 stars.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because I didn't like the Indian part, but 4 stars.
Ellie, I'm so happy that we found something this month that you didn't want to fall asleep watching. It is hard to. I'll say one thing. I haven't gotten to my review yet, but if anything, this is not a movie that is boring at all. You cannot say that,
right?
No. Yeah,
it's a lot of suspense. I really loved that because it had me like, what?
So we're gonna. So Sam, I want to hear your thoughts.
So I enjoyed the movie as well, and I think some of the things that Ellie is talking about is Brian De Palma's always been kind of an energetic director. So his like directing and the pacing and just comedy and like his active camera has more like movement and a pulse than some of the other movies. Like oh my God, I can't believe how when we were watching last week, what was the name of it?
Body Heat.
When we were watching Body Heat, and he's like watching his restaurant burn that he went to as a kid, and it's like the opening shot of the movie, and it's just this static on stick shot, and he's like.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
I went there as a kid, and I'm just sitting there like, because it's just like if it was Brian De Palma, he'd like start on his face and like pan around, and you'd see the fire, and it would pull back. He has this like more energetic, almost like like a teenage film student that wants to show off all his techniques.
Like playful.
He's playful. And sometimes I find his like camera angles over the top, but in this movie, I thought it worked really well. So there was a kind of energy there. I enjoyed it too. On a humorous note, I did like when he was following her on some of the staging of that. I did find some of those scenes funny because he was so close to her. And the fact that she didn't see him, even though I know it's a camera setup in a movie, I'm like, if you have peripheral vision, you would see this guy. Like, he's like, I'm right. He's like, right.
The plot twist is actually that she's blind.
That was my biggest note in that whole. I want to tee off on that scene, but go ahead.
Wait, is she actually blind, or is that a joke?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, oh my God, I'm such a terrible person. Okay, no, but yeah, so there was a little bit like there were moments like that, but there was an energy, and I have to say, I would have to give this movie a strong 3.5 stars simply because of the song "Telescope" by Pino Donaggio, because that is such a 1984-ish song that almost for a second sounds like the Never-Ending Story theme track in the best possible way. So, but I liked that it was also a character driven song, because every time he would have the interest to like peep on her or his like obsession would creep up, that song would play. And I just like the nature of obsession in general, whether it's with something like that or if you're like obsessed with writing or whatever. So I didn't relate to his peeping Tomness, but I related to him having something inside him that he's like, oh, I got to do this thing now. And so that's what made the movie fun for me. The reveal I thought was pretty clever. Again, it all of a sudden he seemed to really figure things out quickly in the last third act, and it was actually slightly ahead of me. I had a little bit of confusion in some of the story reveals, but I did like it. But overall, I enjoyed it because this movie had like a Robert Zemeckis like energy to it, where just the thing, just like when he's murdering her and the drill like comes through the ceiling, and you see like
talking enough about the drill.
Yeah, and you see, it's that kind of it's those types of things are the things that would make like a teenager enjoy this movie, because they go more. It's not slapstick, but they go into these things that are accessible for other people, where whether or not they're getting the undertones of the plot, it has these like surface gimmicks that I like in it, by the way. So give it a solid 3.5 stars. I just have to make one comment about, oh my God, I am so slow today. The Untouchables. An example of a shot for me that is a way over the top Brian De Palma shot that does not work for me, even though I love the movie The Untouchables, is Robert De Niro.
You can't say anything bad about The Untouchables.
Robert De Niro kills a guy in their big like meeting at a table. He bludgeons him to death with a baseball bat,
as one does.
As one does. And had it been directed by Martin Scorsese, the violence would have just speaking for itself. But so the scene is done, and you already feel the impact, and it's totally enough. Then there's this overhead shot of the table that like pulls back, and the music is like, whir, whir, wasn't that awful? And I was like, I got it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So this movie,
the music for The Untouchables is like the best part.
The music is incredible though, and usually it works because there's like an Americana to it. But so yeah, I enjoyed this movie overall because Brian De Palma's energy seemed focused, and when he was showy, it was a good showiness that seemed to like enhance the story rather than just look at me, I can do a tracking shot, like. So 3.5 stars.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. I'm going to be kind of a wet blanket on this movie. I will admit this film is bonkers, and I'm going to say a few things about this, but I'm going to save some more for our discussion. I don't even know where to start here. I had some enormous problems with this movie.
Well, you can go home.
See how opposite this is? The one that I like, he doesn't like.
I'm not saying I didn't like it, but first of all, I think all of us, push back on the idea of studios stifling directors, especially auteur directors, and allowing them to fully express themselves, allowing them to create their fully formed vision that they had to tell a story their way without the corporate overlords interfering, right? I'm sure we can agree on that.
Oh, always, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if some of these, the greatest, directors, didn't have that freedom to be rebels and buck the system, we probably wouldn't have some of these amazing movies to look back on. But I think this movie is what happens when the auteur director is given a really long leash. And I feel within him, either he doesn't know what he wants to accomplish, can't decide, or simply has lost his vision in the process. That's how I feel. Yeah, I watched a lot of interviews, even more, many interviews with Brian De Palma, and I think that first of all, he's even admitted that he made mistakes in this movie, and I think there were a lot of poor decisions in this. And you can tell that he's very, you can tell when he's very proud of the work that he's done, and he's proud of the work in this movie. But he doesn't, I don't think he speaks with confidence about this movie all the time. But he is very humbled by the success, of course, as a cult favorite. So I don't know, man. I don't even know where else. What to say.
Nathan, why don't you just take an electric drill and stab me in the back right now?
Oh man. So oftentimes, when a movie is insane as this, I would be laughing along with it. I found myself nitpicking at this plot so much. I never found myself playing catch up and trying to figure out what was going on. I was ahead of this film the entire time. I never found myself playing catch up on this. I was ahead of everything going on in this movie. I knew that the indigenous man was Sam from the beginning. He was so suspicious from the beginning and bringing up to that UFO house. Great set, by the way, but I felt the setup from the beginning. I'd never seen this movie before, but I was never fooled by this. I think the casting isn't tremendous. Ellie, like you, I am not the biggest Melanie Griffith fan. There aren't that many performances where I'm really like into what she's giving us.
Yeah.
I think the casting of Bill Maher is a weak choice. I'm sorry, Craig Wasson. That's his doppelganger. Seriously, they are the same guy. I know De Palma wanted an unknown, somebody who was also this sympathetic schlub, but like the character of Jake Scully, I just found so problematic. He's a peeping Tom. He's a loser. First time we meet him, he's catching his girlfriend in bed with another man. They make this eye contact. It's a great moment, actually. I'm not complaining about how that's portrayed. And her look is priceless. And he just sulks away like a chump. And that's how the character's written. But I hated him. I hated spending time with him. I'm so happy his girlfriend was cheating on him. He deserves it. I think the dialogue in this movie is just utterly horrible.
It's kind of, the movie's sort of, it's kind of, I know what you mean, it's kind of stagey. Like I enjoyed it for its energy, but I feel like I'm watching like actors try to act. And he was like, Roger Ebert liked it because he was like, the character isn't too bright and he's not too dumb, so he's like a regular guy, but he was just kind of like, you know. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I felt bad for him though. Like, he's so dumb. Like, even the police doesn't pay attention to him when he tries to talk to the police.
There's a funny moment where like he's like, there's a woman getting murdered over there, and the police is like, just get back in your car. No, there's a woman getting murdered over there. Any police officer would be like, what? Where?
Yeah, what's up with the police back in the 80s?
People nobody acts like a real person in this movie. And I know it's a movie, it's a Brian De Palma movie. Everything's sensationalized. I get it. But like, there is not the most realistic moment that movie moment, how to express this. No, I was going to save this for the end, but the most realistic part of this movie that seemed like a movie was a scene that takes place under the credits when Jack is back and the vampire get up and they're actually on the movie set and he's in the shower. That's the only thing that actually seemed like a real movie to me. and everyone's like, here, hold the C-stand right here. All right. And then the other body double comes in and like, it was a really funny moment. Had nothing to do with the movie at all. And we'll get to the end of this movie afterwards because a huge problem with the end of this movie. But let me back up here for a moment. The dialogue is garbage.
Nathan, you sound like me three movies back.
There's a scene after he sees his girlfriend cheating on him. He goes to a bar. It is the worst dialogue ever seen. Hey Jack, what's going on? And like, leave the bottle. Like, oh my God. And then they get into like this argument. You need a place to stay. I mean, it is so tropey and awful. And he ends up anyways, it's awful. Great things I do love the audition scene. We already mentioned it before. That teacher was so handsy and it was great. What else? There's some other things that just don't happen. Like he walks onto a set that he has been fired from and just starts yelling at the director. It's like, this just doesn't happen on a studio movie set. You know, there's just, coming from this world, I kind of know a little bit about this. And like Brian De Palma should know that there's just some rules that he's just breaking about the studio industry that just
you'd be surprised though. You'd be surprised. I work with some divas that tell the directors off.
Well, they do, but a fired actor just can't walk onto like the Paramount lot and just start yelling at a director. It just doesn't happen.
The script served like.
Wasn't that a dream?
I'm completely nitpicking. I realize that, but I nitpicked this whole movie because it just put me in that place. Now, I do want to say my biggest gripe, and Sam already brought this up. All right, what I'm calling the Vertigo tail scene, where he is following her to the Rodeo Drive Mall. This went on and on and on and on, and I saw that they shot this over 4 days, but why? I mean, Jake is so horrible at tailing somebody. It's so unrealistic. He's like following her like 6 feet behind. This did not need to be this. And then it continues to the Long Beach apartments. Another great location, but it goes on and on. And anybody. First of all, I'm thinking for the characters. Anybody with 4 neurons firing between their head would have noticed this creepy guy following them all the way from the mall to Long Beach and then like hiding in plain sight. Now, maybe I don't know what's going on here, but I feel like De Palma just wanted to cover these sequences from every angle possible, but then had no guts in the edit to trim it down. And I blame his ego for thinking that this was compelling. I found this to be just so tedious, and it's in the middle of the movie and it just like grinded this movie to a halt. This should have been like a 3-minute sequence. And I know he's paying homage to Vertigo in this, but like it just like, I just wanted this. Come on, move it along. We get it.
You could have done the 360 as the homage though. And then the rest would have been fine.
So,
yeah, when he that's the thing but De Palma, like when they're on the house and he's like on one level of the porch and she's on another level and it's a wide shot, he's like so into his like, ooh, this camera angle. It's like it's stagey. And when you talk about the script and the bad dialogue, I feel like the script tries to serve the plot alone, but kind of at the expense of it's it feels like there's a lot of artifice in the movie. I think, and the thing is, I got to be honest, like, even though it's tough because like I've tried to be respectful towards these films, even though I don't like strongly connect to the genre that much. But like, I think the reason that I felt somewhat engaged with this was just because I was amused by the like animatedness of it, because some scenes in the previous movies are a lot more like myopic. So this was more kind of like, you know,
it definitely has an energy to it. And for the most part, I don't mind the way it's shot. I just wish, I felt like this is just a production that went off the rails in my book. And because of that, the storytelling loses a lot of its focus and the ending is just an absolute mess. And there's a lot more to talk about. I don't want to steal everyone's thunder here, so I'm going to hand it over to B. But before I do, I'll say my rating for this is a 2 out of 5. B, you can take it.
I don't want it. After that, follow that, B. Follow that, B.
I was too kind. I have to take mine down to a 3. I'm now a 3.5. I'm so wet and easy and like 2, like, so I should be harder. So 3, like half a star, like get out of there.
You're so weak, Sam.
I am weak. I don't like it. Yeah.
I'm sticking with the 4 because it's the only movie that I actually enjoyed. Just because of that.
Well, now I feel kind of dumb. I love this movie. I thought this movie ripped start to finish. I was like, this is the best movie ever. I loved it. I thought this is like, oh God, I just thought it was so good. I'm like dumbfounded. I just totally expected everyone to love this. I thought this was a great Mobius strip of a film, and I loved that right off the bat De Palma was showing us that artifice. Like everything that you didn't like about the movie I thought was so intentional and like the purpose of the movie, and I was so on board for that. I right from the beginning where like you think, okay, this is the movie, this is going to be some like cheesy glam rock vampire thing, and they zoom out and it's not, and you're like, okay, that was a film within a film, and then it's the backdrop that's on set and you zoom out from that, and it's just showing you over and over and over again that De Palma's going to lie to you in this movie, that you can't trust anything that you're seeing over and over again. He really hammers you over the head with that, and I thought that was really fun, and I loved the structure of it, the sort of non-narrative dream-like structure, very like Lost Highway. I thought that was great. I thought, I love movies where you don't really know where in time you are. I love books like that. I love any media like that. And I thought he totally nailed that execution. I think everything served that sense of this isn't real. You're watching people who aren't real. And I thought that did a great job at speaking to this like expectation versus reality that's really at the heart of voyeurism. You know, he expected to see Gloria. He expected to just be able to be a peeping Tom without consequence. And then the reality was so different. And over in the film, we're shown this expectation of what the movie's going to be, and it's pulled back into something different. So I thought that was really smart. I know some people had problems with all the Hitchcock stuff, all the homages, the rear window and the rear projection and the 360s and all that, the split diopters and stuff. I didn't find them derivative. I thought it just, again, helped lend itself to the fact that he was really trying to tell you this is a movie, right? Like this is not a true story. This is like, I'm making a point about something and I'm going to use all the tools in my arsenal to get us there. I thought the relax sequence was really fun.
Yeah, music video.
Shoot,
yeah.
It's a great one shot.
Amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was just great. I thought the casting was fun, you know, like I could see, but the thing about the casting is I could see anyone else in any of these roles. There wasn't anyone in these roles where I was like, oh, this person was perfect for it. They're the only one who, like Richard Gere, I think is the only person who could have been an American Gigolo.
Props to the detective Jim McLean, the cop in this. He's in his own movie. I feel like I loved him, but he's definitely he was cast in. I don't think he knew what movie he was in. I don't know.
Listening to all you guys, I feel like I can tell that. I mean, I had fun watching this movie. I can tell I don't feel strongly about it. That's my problem. I wasn't like, yeah, I wasn't like, and so that's why it's like 3.5, 3. I just like, I had fun, but I can see all of your points, and I feel like
sit down before you change it to 2.5. Okay.
Half a star, half a star, no stars, 0, no 3. I'm sticking with 3. Yeah, it's a good really 3-star movie. Yeah.
I really thought it was a good blend of like, it was like very, Rear Window. It was a little Lost Highway for me. It was super fun. It was super, super campy. There were times when he and Gloria do that kiss under the bridge, and that is cheesy Cheetos, Ellie. That is
it was.
The cheesiest of Cheetos. And I was like,
I need to talk about that.
And but then it just kept going, and I was like, oh, this is just that artifice again that we just keep bumping into. And I kind of, maybe it lent to me forgiving more than I should have, but I kind of thought that it all served this idea of expectation versus reality. And I think coming off of Scarface and dealing with production, I think that's something that Brian De Palma had on his mind. I also think it's a great takedown of the nice guy, because Jake Scully, not a nice guy, actually, just a luring pervert.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good critique and really fit with the noir. Like, nobody comes out stellar in this movie. Nobody comes out shining.
Maybe the dog.
Maybe
best dog ever in a movie.
Yeah.
I hope the dog survived. It could have just crawled away.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that's why I was just on board for all the wackiness and
it's wacky. That's what it's so wacky. It's enjoyable.
It's so campy. And like, there was stuff if it were in any movie that weren't talking about all this stuff, I would have, like, that drill, come on, that kiss, that glampy makeup, all this kind of stuff. But because it was in this movie and it was shrouded in these different layers and the narrative was so all over the place, I think I just sort of saw it as more thematic and playing into it. I don't know. Maybe
I think it is the messiness that I actually enjoyed, because this mess is not. Unlike Nathan, that kind of could foresee what was coming. I could not see what was coming. I could not see what. I mean, I really couldn't, and I think that's what kept me interested in the film. That I didn't know was happening next, but at the same time, it was funny to see this guy struggle to try to get to this lady. It's like, oh my God, can you just like get to her? Like, she's gonna die. And yeah,
he was really, really slow in communicating with her. I was like, just talk to her. Say something in the elevator. The one moment that I really agreed with was when the detective was like, I'm not going to book you, but I think that she died because of you. And I was like, that is correct, moron. Like,
yeah.
I love Detective McLean.
Yeah, my only real sticking point in this is the indigenous person. I don't like that they called them the Indian. I know it's a product of the time. I don't like them. There was just no reason for that in a movie that had so much else, so many other fantastical elements. There was no reason to bring it in this way.
I mean, if the Palma wants
not
to
that
make,
there's ever a reason.
If the Palma wants to make Cubans look like mafia, is done. That's one thing. But indigenous people.
You're right, and there's never a reason, really. I just mean it was.
So B, what do you give this?
It's
for
not.
rating?
He doesn't even have the excuse of it trying to save the plot or anything. There's nothing. There was no point to it, but I loved this movie. Sorry.
How many stars?
Fucking 5 stars, Nathan.
Good movie.
All right, best movie ever.
I'm gonna say it again. It has hot people. They're having a good time. What do you want?
Yeah.
Like.
Hey, if I liked it, and you know how hard I don't like things.
So a couple things I want to throw out for conversation here before we wrap this up. The romance that is supposed to be here between Jake and Gloria. This entire plot
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Really befuddles me. And I'm really trying to figure out what is attracting her to Jake. This is where I think De Palma also, I feel, has made a mistake with the storytelling. The version of Gloria that Jake thinks he's following around, rodeo and the beach, is the woman that, he thinks is the woman that's putting on these erotic shows in the window. However, he's both attracted to her, but he's feeling the need to protect her from this creepy stalker.
He's not a nice guy.
But I feel that when they start kissing, it doesn't seem genuine. In the version of Gloria, is not the woman Gloria is not the woman that's dancing in the window. Would this Gloria be attracted to Jake? This is a different version than the one that he thinks he's following. I think there's something that is not connecting there. Do you know? Am I making sense here?
100%. Yeah. I don't know. See, when they kissed out when he got like out of the corridor,
tunnel,
I was just kind of like, what?
I mean, aside from the production of it, which I think is cheesy, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the story-wise.
That's what I mean. But the story, it just was like, would she really go for that? Like it seemed.
Wait a minute, you're not.
Yeah.
Bill Mayer, really?
Strangers is what I said, Nathan.
What?
Well, she's there I'm assuming to have an affair with some other guy. She was on the phone with somebody. He ditches her.
Yeah.
So he's already the kind of person that would cheat on her husband. It seems like, but she's all of a sudden going to like have an affair with this guy, Jake, this guy, Jake, who has claustrophobia that she had to rescue from a tunnel.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. Okay. So just okay, it's possible that a woman who is lonely and is trying to get her lover to come over and her husband is cheating on her and she's just having a bad day, and I'm pretty sure she knew she was
bad day.
I'm pretty sure she's having she knows she's being followed because come on. And so yeah, it's possible that a woman will just say, fudge it. I'm going to do it.
I think you guys are missing the forest for the trees.
What?
Like you said earlier, Nathan, no one in this movie acts like a normal person. They all act in a movie.
Yes, I can't get past that.
Like, why isolate this one scene for abnormal behavior?
Yeah, well,
not abnormal. It just seemed like I didn't think her character within the context of the movie would do that, especially since he was just there like, oh, I can't move. It's like, well, there's a guy that's really, fun to be around.
See, I beg to differ with you, Sam. I think that her character did call for that. I think she would have done it, and she did exactly what I thought she would do.
Interesting. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's maybe something here about gender role reversal because he thinks that she's Holly Body and he sees her as this like sexual object of desire. And then they're in this tunnel or this overpass or whatever. And he's kind of the damsel in distress role. And she's not this object of sexual desire. She's somebody else entirely. We don't really know who she is. But I don't know that that's it. I just play devil's advocate on that one.
We got to talk. We haven't talked about this yet. And I know it's getting late, but the death scene. this is an amazing sequence. I love how this plays out. Great suspense. The drill. Now, we think Gloria is cornered by the drill, and I watched the interview with Brian De Palma, how he always wanted to have a thing where a woman is cornered, but like it's tethered by a cord, and she's saved because the cord pulls out. But there's that great moment where she's now pinned on the floor, and I love how he positions the camera. And you see that drill, it's very phallic, how it goes right between his legs, right into her chest. I don't know if anyone else caught that, the way that's angled, and it penetrates her. That was maybe my favorite shot of the movie is it's almost like reminds me of a James Bond poster where like you see like the woman's legs and you see like the camera going through the legs, but instead it's a drill where something else would typically be.
I think there's an argument to be made that this is an exploitation movie.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Is that your MVP scene?
No, but it's my. I'm not going to get to that yet.
That she died. I was hoping that he would get to her first. So it was like it really frustrated me that she was killed. But yeah, I know it was well done.
I can't take this MVP scene because we haven't gotten to that yet, and I don't want to that could be everyone's or nobody. I don't know. We'll get to that. But I just think it is a great moment in this movie, and of course that bloody drill bit coming through the ceiling while Jake is being attacked by that dog from hell. It's such an iconic moment. I love that. One other thing I want to mention this, and this again, I don't want to nitpick everything, but the ending, we have to just jump to the ending before we wrap this up. I felt.
Do you mean the ending or like the credit scene that you were?
No. I got to talk about
that is very much part of the movie.
This whole thing where he, by the way, Jake, so amazing at jumping over fences in this movie. Anyway, so good at that.
White men can jump.
Yeah. I just, again, I felt this was so poorly conceived and executed for me, but the dog jumps through the car window, by the way, not car safety glass. I don't know what's up with that, and he runs after Sam, who's thrown Holly. I think Holly and Jake are in the grave. Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny. Sam yells, "Kill, kill," which I just burst out laughing at that moment. And then Jake does something where he just kind of like twists and turns, like ducks her, I guess that's all it was. And the dog misses and jumps on what I guess is his owner, because it's his dog. And they fall into the water and they get wet. I guess that's the end of them. I'm assuming they could,
It's a wet movie.
They get wet. So here's the thing. Holly still doesn't like Jake. She calls him some names at the end. They're not cool still. But yet in the credits, you see a scene where she's on set while Jake is back in the vampire makeup. Now, I think that from what I read, that this scene was never supposed to be part of the credits. It was just it was shot earlier in the movie, but in that shot of Holly was inserted maybe, but it just doesn't make any sense at all. Why you would have that shot? Like, what happened? Why is she on set with him? Are they together?
Vibes. Nathan, all gas, no brakes. What do you?
I actually was confused at the end. I thought that when it went back to him as the vampire, I thought that he'd been in that coffin the whole time and the whole movie was just in his head. And
I
then
thought that too, but I think that's the fun part of the narrative.
Yeah, and then when it cuts back to him and she's in the grave and she isn't even aware that she was thrown in that grave by someone else. It's like, were you not just in the truck with that guy? Like, why? It was just kind of like psych out, psych out, psych out. And I was like, okay, the shot was well lit. They had good equipment. I
want to ask you guys one last thing. What is your take on what Sam's motive was?
Obviously, money.
It has to. Yeah. What I have no. I don't.
We never get into it. Why did he want to kill his wife? Was he really an actor?
That's a staple of the genre.
And you don't need to get into it by dialogue. You can see it. The actions show you.
I thought it was money because didn't someone make a passing comment that she was loaded?
Yes.
So he's not. He is he really an actor?
I don't know. I have no idea.
But I kind of like I don't think that you need to know that about him. You just need to know he's the bad guy. You know, like it felt very Western in that sense.
I want to know why he wanted to knock off his wife.
Why else would anybody want to knock out a rich woman if it's not for the money? It's so obvious. It's the money. Most marriages with a rich woman or a rich man, they get killed because of the money.
Do you think the UFO house was his party pad?
Why? It's true. Why? Sally's like 50% of marriages end up in murder.
Yeah.
When they're above a certain
there you
go. UFO house. There was one. The UFO house is pretty good, but like from the outside, it was like a matte painting, and they like had the windows, like the images, like one of the VFX in one of those shots was like, it was good though. I mean, it looked good.
Is that a real house?
Yeah, it was built in 1960.
It exists, this thing.
Yeah. And actually, I had read or heard that there actually was a murder in that house.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Probably some rich people who were married.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
I'm just saying, it's pretty obvious.
All right. Any last words? Any last notes on Body Double?
I'm really glad I bought the Blu-ray. It rips. I can't wait to watch it all the time.
It rips.
Okay, so I think let's get to this.
Oh, you knocked
Something
it
in this
down.
field could be releasing the chemical into the air when there's too many of us together. Don't eyeball me, boy. I see your mother driving up and down the street looking at me. I'll be your stepfather by the week.
It's a bad time, Bob.
I'm serious. If I leave now, I'm not coming back.
You ever hear the expression, you got a face only a mother can love?
Let's just stay ahead of the wind.
That is our bumper for wall casting, where we recast somebody from this movie with Mark Wahlberg. Hey, by the way, we could also recast him with Donnie Wahlberg too, if you want.
But Donnie's Donnie. No, you can't do that.
All the Wahlbergs are in play.
No, it's just Mark. No.
All right. So let's begin. Ellie, who are you recasting in this movie?
Oh gosh, Melanie.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Mark will be like dancing.
Oh yeah.
In the window.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Why
both A
not?
cups.
And Mark would be like this.
It will be the gun show the whole time.
Yeah. He'd be talking like, "Do you like me? Do you think I do it right? Do I make it honey, baby?"
All right. Sam, would you like to follow that up?
I guess I would just cast him as the main protagonist. I feel like he could do the main character believably.
Jake Scully?
Jake Scully, not to be confused with Jake Sully of Avatar. Yeah, I think he could do
good movie.
I think he could do the main character. Could do the main character well. That's what I'd recast.
Sam, I'm also going to piggyback on that, and I'll say also Jake Scully, but I will want to be Mark Wahlberg from the Ted movies.
Yes.
Just for fun, because in those movies, he's good-natured, he's good-hearted, he's kind of an immature guy, very naive. You know, I could still see him absolutely getting caught up with him and his buddy Ted peeping on the neighbor. In fact, it would mostly be Ted, probably in a telescope, looking across the way. It would be a comedy.
He's like that in Daddy's Home.
Well.
He's the same way. He's like that in Daddy's Home too, and Daddy's Home.
In fact, I might write the script treatment for Ted 3 that is a crossover with a Body Double reboot. It would be a cash cow. I could see it. I really could see it.
Sure to include the Telescope song by Pino Donaggio.
Somehow Teddy is equally erotic. And
I might recast Holly Body with Ted, actually.
Oh, he's so cuddly.
B?
Yeah, I thought he would do good as Jake Scully. Do well as Jake Scully.
Anything to get Bill Mayer out of there. Right. I don't think he ever did. He do anything of any notoriety like this again? I don't know. This was definitely the biggest role I think he's ever had.
I don't even know that actor. This is
I liked him in the movie, but I don't know what else he's done. That's no barometer.
I looked at his IMDb and a couple titles that seemed familiar, but just a lot of obscure stuff. Never his career never took off. So yeah. All right. Well, I think we can close the book on Body Double. So
a great movie.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right. We're going to transition to our next segment. And what I want to say also is, we appreciate for all of you tuning in to our show. Your feedback on a discussion of Body Double means a lot to us. You can connect with us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Back to the Frame Rate, or email us at backtotheframerate@gmail.com. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if you have a moment, please consider leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your preferred podcast platform. We highly recommend that you subscribe to our newsletter, Frame Rate Monthly. This newsletter is packed with details about our podcast, including what we're currently watching, upcoming discussion topics, interactive polls, and other engaging content. To subscribe to our newsletter, simply send an email to us at backtotheframerate@gmail.com and be sure to include newsletter in the subject line. And in this month on the newsletter, you can participate in our November poll. And the poll is, what is your favorite decade for film noir or neo-noir? And the options are the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. So many options.
No.
I want to ask you guys, actually, in the pod right now, do you have a favorite decade that you want to share? You guys, you people, hosts with me.
I think I've only seen like the classics really from 40s, and then I jumped straight into like the 80s and 90s neo-noir. So I think there's a lot of decades that I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
You mean for noir? I can't even say the damn word.
It's a hard word. Noir.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Noir.
It's like
hour phonetically on our. I'm going to send out emails.
You actually asking what my favorite decade for noir is?
Yes, Ellie.
Seriously?
Yes.
I'd rather watch Bugs Bunny.
I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I don't know. I guess I'd say it's hard. Maybe the 1940s, like the classic ones, because they're so iconic. But there's a lot that I haven't seen. Like these 80s films that we watched were like educational to me because I had not seen them before.
Educational, huh?
Yeah.
I'm probably the classic period, the 40s or 50s.
Like Double Indemnity is incredible. You know what I mean? Like it's just like,
That's a great movie. Yeah. I'd have to go with for me, it's really between the 40s and the 80s because that's what I'm most familiar with, and I'd go 40s.
If I had to pick, I'd pick the 40s because I love anything 40s.
Yep.
Or 2005's the remake of The Fog. Because it was like dark. It was dark out in that movie. So I'm just kidding.
A lot of shadows. I don't know with The Fog. I don't know if
was noir out in that movie.
There's no. It's not very. It's noir outside. Yeah.
It's noir outside.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty noir outside in that movie.
Pretty noir.
So one thing before we move on, I want to just mention in passing and quickly that the passing of cinematographer John Bailey. I bring this up because he passed away on November 10th, and he was the cinematographer for American Gigolo. We just watched that a couple of weeks ago. So sad to report that news. I really did love the look of that film. I think that was one of the trademarks of that movie.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So, all right, we are going to get to our recommendation shelf.
Excuse me, can you help me? I'm at an absolute loss. I've been looking for over an hour and I'm losing my mind. What I'm in the mood for is sort of a Katharine Hepburn-y, Cary Grant-y kind of thing. Nothing heavy. I couldn't take heavy. No, something zany. I'm looking for something zany. Or something modern would be fine too, like a Goldie Hawn, Chevy Chasey kind of thing. You know, funny. I want to laugh. I have to laugh tonight, really. Oh, do you have anything with that comedian? He's on that show. It's on the radio. You know the guy, he says, hey, forgive me. I get such a kick out of the way he says that. He's so goddamn adorable. That would be perfect. Didn't he make a movie? Ordinary Peepholes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is our bumper for our recommendation shelf. And this week we are recommending films that feature voyeurism as a predominant theme. So this should be a lot of fun. We are going to begin with Ellie, with your pick this week.
Well,
enlighten us.
I think when I think of voyeurism, I think of peeping toms, but I don't know if this movie is that way, but it definitely is like noir. I picked David Lynch, Blue Velvet.
Yes.
It's such a great film.
movie.
Yeah, I actually took David's master class in writing scripts, and he's an amazing teacher. I really loved his class, and when he's doing the class, he tells you what movies to watch that he's made, and Blue Velvet was one of the recommendations from him. And for me, that it's kind of weird when I first watched this movie, and I watched this movie a while back, because I don't quite remember everything, but I love Rossellini in her role. I think she's a great actress, Rossellini, and I love the music in the film. And boy, I think Dennis Hopper?
Dennis Hopper, yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is what I remember vividly, is his character, is his performance, because he scared the Cheetos out of me. Okay. And I'm telling you, like, it was the scariest psychopath. And there's this scene that it's really strong, where he pretends to be like a baby, like a boy.
Yes.
And if you guys seen it, and Rosaline is sitting on the chair, and she's just like, they're role playing, and I thought, oh, that is so sick. It's sick. I mean, there's a lot of.
I feel like I'm gonna vomit thinking about that scene.
No, it's sick, but it's such a well done film.
It's visceral.
Yeah. So it's if you can stomach that, I guess, but it might trigger some people something if you watch that film. It is kind of like mysterious for me. I just didn't. It was just a lot, from finding like body parts in a field to like it's just I just love it. But yeah, I think I want to watch it again anyway, just because it's David's.
Awesome pick, Ellie.
Yeah.
All right, Sam.
For the voyeurism style, like peeping movie, even though it's really not quite in the same genre. I would pick the 1998 film The Truman Show, because Jim Carrey is basically like just watched throughout that film. And I also like the movie is like the way the story is told. It's like the nature of a quest where the hero has to like escape his world. And for me,
this is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
The real pleasure of watching that movie is watching his character slowly realize what's going on, that like he's on a set and everything is really spooky. And it just unravels. And my favorite absolute part of that movie is the third act, when all of a sudden we go to the control tower where like Ed Harris, Paul Giamatti and team are running the whole show, and you see it from a completely different angle. And what fascinates me about the structure of that movie is that for the majority of it, we're like in Jim Carrey's head and we're seeing what he's thinking. But all of a sudden in the third act, we leave him and we don't see his thought process anymore. And he just starts acting really, really normal again. Like he's accepted his life. And you're seeing it from an outside perspective. And then you realize that, no, he's not acting normal. He's found a way to escape and avoid the cameras, and he's going to go for it. And when they lose track of him and find a hole in his basement and like make the sun rise and just turn the whole upside down looking for him, the suspense there is just amazing. And lastly, I'll say about that movie, I think the brilliant thing about that movie is it ends right after he says good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and he bows and he walks out the door. And it just cuts. We don't see him like walk out into the real world. It just stops there. The show ends. You know that he's going to reconnect with that woman and that they're going to probably come together. And so it's very optimistic ending for him. But it ends on a perfect note. So structurally, I love that movie and like the commentary it has. And I think it was kind of ahead of its time because it came out in 1998.
Yep.
And it would be like incredibly topical coming out now. You know,
oh my God, where everyone's life is streamed and on YouTube now.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just so well done.
Yeah.
It'd be terrifying if it came out now.
Yeah.
It was foreshadowing what was coming, like what was about to happen to us.
Absolutely.
My pick this week is I'm going with my pick for a few reasons. And not only incorporates the subject matter of voyeurism, but it's also a great modern neo-noir. The film is Bad Times at the El Royale. It came out in 2018. Has anyone else seen this?
No, but I saw the trailer and I actually wanted to see that. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
This is in my top 2 or 3 films of the year that it came out. It's from writer-director Drew Goddard, who is the writer behind some huge movies over the past decade, such as Cloverfield, World War Z, and The Martian. This film is the directorial follow-up to one of the greatest horror movie send-ups of all time, The Cabin in the Woods. It stars Jeff Bridges, Cynthia Erivo, Dakota Johnson, John Hamm, Louis Pullman, Chris Hemsworth, Nick Offerman. They're all in this. This entire film takes place at the El Royale Hotel in the late 50s. I'm not even going to get into the plot, but the entire cast is firing on all cylinders. Like I said, voyeurism plays a huge part in this film. I don't want to give anything away because I think it's just so great how it plays into it. Excuse me. But the hotel features a section of it, a certain corridor where certain staff members can spy on their guests, which plays a major part in the movie. You got to see it. The movie underperformed at the box office, but I think as time passes, this film is going to find a cult following because it's just so great. Chris Hemsworth plays against type in this movie as his cult leader in a really unforgettable role. So everyone should stream this, watch it, tell your friends. You can catch us on Freevee where you can watch it with ads, but I think a better option is just to splurge and find it on VOD. So that's my pick, Bad Times at the El Royale. It is I had such a gleeful experience when I saw this in the cinema about 5 years ago.
Nathan, 2018 was a weird year for movies.
Why do you say that? Tell me.
It was just, there was some, I thought it was just kind of middling. You had a few really good standouts, like First
It's possible if this was like my favorite movie of the year, it might have been a weak year, but I did.
It was a little bit of a weak year, but you had like Spider-Man.
Was this the year that Green Book won Best Picture?
This was Roma.
Oh,
2018 was Roma.
But Green Book also was nominated for Best Picture with Roma and Black Klansman.
Yep.
That
Beale
year.
Street Could Talk was on here.
Yep.
Like, man, but it's just, I don't know. I thought it was kind of like you had Ready Player One, Won't You Be My Neighbor? Yeah. Just
I'm hearing a lot of good
interesting
movies.
kind of. Yeah.
All right. Who's left here? Oh, B.
Hey, take it away.
Take it away.
So I think there's a lot of amazing movies that are about voyeurism, and it was hard to pick one. I mean, I think voyeurism. I think Michael Powell's Peeping Tom. I think about Antonioni's Blow Up. There's just insane examples of the genre, but I had to go with a classic for this one. I had to go with Hitchcock's Rear Window, just because of how overtly Hitchcockian Body Double was. He just references Hitchcock. It's just a barrage of camera angles and plot lines and characterizations that are so reminiscent of his movies that I think if you're getting into movies, if somehow Rear Window hasn't come across your table yet, which would be amazing to me, but if somehow you haven't seen that one yet, you got to see it. You just got to see it. And I think it makes a great double feature with other directors who are really clearly paying homage. He has a huge catalog, and I think if you're new to watching movies or you're trying to go through directors, that can be intimidating because you don't know what's the best or which one to watch. This is one of my favorite Hitchcocks. It might be my number one Hitchcock. I think it's a beautiful movie. It gets better every time I watch it. Unfortunately, right now, I think you have to rent it. I don't think it's streaming for free anywhere. It's on Apple TV. It's on Amazon. It's on VOD. But it's worth it. It's worth the $3 or $4 for sure.
Fantastic. I love Rear Window is my favorite Hitchcock. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Nobody knew until you said so. All right. We are going to move on to our last segment of the night, our movie musings, where anybody can plug or mention anything about our life with movies, what we've watched this past week, or what we're looking forward to watching. And we're going to begin with Ellie.
Well, I saw All the Light We Cannot See. It's a 2023 limited series on Netflix from director Sean Levy. I loved it. I loved you know who's in this movie, which was really surprising, was Mark Ruffalo, and he's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah,
he's in this film, and it's just based on the Nazi era and how they occupy France, and it's about this blind girl who is listening to this broadcast. And back in that day, from what I gathered from this series, is that it was prohibited by the Nazis to listen to any other radio station unless it wasn't for the man or whatever they wanted you. Otherwise, if they caught you listening to any other radio station, they would basically kill you, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. So so they I'm not gonna go too much into it, but if you are looking to see something like that, it's got a little, it's a well done limited series. Then I saw The Killer 2023, and also on Netflix. David Fincher is the director. Oh my god. Oh my god. All I'm gonna say is watch The Killer. I know you saw it, right?
I loved it.
Oh, you saw it too, B?
I loved it.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
It's so good. It's just, and it's got the humor in it too, because
very funny. Yeah.
Because it's like, dude, you're supposed to be like exact at what you do, and you're like dumb. And then I went to go see Marvel 2023.
Marvel 2023?
Well, Marvel, the movie.
The Marvel? The Marvels.
Mm-hmm. The Marvels. Yeah. And Brie, Tiona, and Iman. And for me, Iman stole the show in that film. I love her. She's funny. She's charming. She's lovable, and I just love that actress and what she did in the film, and I enjoyed the film. I mean, it's not like up there with other films that I've seen, but from this universe, but I think it was enjoyable for me to see like three females fighting evil, which was another female actually. It's so weird. It's like cat fight. But especially the cats in the film, they were so cute. Cute cats. And I'm not a cat person, but these cats were funny. They were funny. They would eat people to save them at one point. And don't even ask. There's like the cats can grow tentacles and eat things and then spit them out. And it was just cute.
I watched a few things. I did catch up with 3 out of the 4 Wes Anderson short films on Netflix. The shorter of the 3. I didn't watch the long one, the Henry Sugar one. Is that what it was? The one that was like 40. I watched the 3 that were 17 minutes long, and 2 out of 3 I enjoyed. I liked. I liked the 2 that weren't titled The Rat Catcher. I did not like The Rat Catcher that much, but I'm not here to talk about those because I thought they were okay. Mm-hmm. And that will be controversial maybe in this crowd. I don't know. Anyways, but what I do want to talk about, 2 movies I did watch in its entirety. You know, last week on the show, I was praising how much I enjoyed Mickey Rourke's character in Body Heat. So I decided I wanted to catch up on one of his films that I'd never seen before. So I watched for the first time Desperate Hours. This is a 1990 movie directed by Michael Cimino. It's a remake of the 1955 William Wyler film, The Desperate Hours. That film starred Humphrey Bogart in the main role. I've seen a lot of Bogart films, but I haven't caught up with this one yet. However, this remake, this is the remake that I sat on to watch. This film also stars Anthony Hopkins, just before his career really took off. It also has Mimi Rogers, Lindsay Krause, Kelly Lynch, Elias Koteas, and David Morse. It really has a great cast in it, but it's not a good film. And it's mostly in the storytelling and the miscasting of Anthony Hopkins, which are the problem. It's about a home invasion, which is led by Mickey Rourke. Now, you'd expect an over-the-top performance from him, possibly. However, Mickey is playing it so laid back, so unexpectedly passive in this movie.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
And those great character actors like Koteas, Morse, and even Kelly Lynch are written as no more than just archetypes. So I was very, very disappointed in this movie. So I don't have that much to say about it. It was just kind of a middling movie that just fell by the wayside. But it seems like I'm watching a lot of movies from the year 1990 lately. I don't know how that happened. But yeah. And the other thing I just want to say that I watched, I caught up with Past Lives, which is a new release, written and directed by Celine Song. This was a very emotionally charged film about reflecting back on past friendships and relationships. It stars Greta Lee and I guess Teo Yu, who were just both outstanding in this. Greta Lee should definitely get some consideration for Best Actress at the upcoming Oscars. It's about 2 children, a boy and a girl, who are not just best friends, but have this budding relationship that is just ripped away from them when her family immigrated to the United States when she was 12 years old. And it deals with the emotions from both his and her perspectives as they reunite in their mid-20s. And it's navigating some really complicated emotional waters, but it handles it with extreme care and authenticity. I cried watching this because there were some moments in this film that tapped directly into feelings that I once felt about past relationships and past friendships. what could have been, what wasn't. It's wrestling with a lot. And I think it's a sign of a great film, after watching it, when it just stays with me days afterwards. I watched this about 4 days ago. So Past Lives is definitely one that emotionally has kept me thinking about it for days afterwards. And has also made me recontextualize in ways how I look back on past friendships and relationships. So I highly recommend this. So that's out on VOD right now.
Well,
so,
that kind of reminds me of my little story I posted on our group.
Yeah.
I was just
absolutely.
I never seen this movie. Is it where's it playing again?
It's on VOD. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. So that is B. I don't want to skip you.
That's all right.
I'm so used to going last. That's why.
I haven't seen too much this week, but I did see The Killer. I think I talked about last week. I went to the theater for a little Sunday matinee to go see The Killer. And that made me really want to just close the loop on my Fincher filmography. So I only have a handful of movies left. This week I caught up with The Game and Mank. And the two I have left to see are Panic Room and Alien 3. Looking forward to Panic Room. I'll say that.
I will say I have a soft spot for Alien 3. It gets better and better over the last 30 years.
I hear it's good.
Problem is people compare it to Aliens, and that is the biggest mistake.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm reserving judgment on it. It's more just that to watch Alien 3, I know I have to go back and do Alien 3, and that's just going to take some time.
Yeah.
The Game I thought was good. I thought the game was good. I thought it was kind of a slog for a lot of it. It just got really repetitive, and then I thought the ending was pretty messy. But you can definitely see where Fincher's starting to plant the seeds for the ideas that we're going to see later throughout his career. So that was exciting. I think Michael Douglas just is Michael Douglas in the whole movie. I really thought that Sean Penn kind of stole the show. Actually, I thought that he was acting his butt off.
I think in hindsight, the game does not hold up at all. No, but go ahead.
I mean, I thought like it held my attention. I could watch it. I guess that's my barometer for good. It was good, but like David Fincher knows how to world build. Like I thought that was good. I thought his dialogue was fine in it.
But the game itself makes no sense.
Stupid. Like I would watch it with some friends, but I thought that it just when you've seen all the other awesome things that Fincher's done, you're like, this isn't even like fun and campy. It's just kind of a slog. And then Mank, I thought, I get why people didn't like it, but I think Mank was a little bit of a victim of Fincher's reputation and expectations for what people thought that he would make. I think with time, Mank will be remembered more positively in the context of his career, but it's such a weird run for him. He's got Girl with a Dragon Tattoo and Social Network and Gone Girl, and then Mank, and then The Killer, which I think there's a lot of meta context.
I think Mank also, because it kind of subverted expectations. It was also was it his father's script?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I'm trying to remember now. I don't want to misspeak, but if you were to look it up, I think it was a script that sat around for decades, and it was really a labor of love, a passion project of his to, I'm putting myself out there to the world to say this. And I hate doing that when I'm not speaking from any place of authority. But if you look,
it's not a bad movie, but I do think that it doesn't feel like what we've come to expect as a Fincher movie.
Yes. The screenplay, is by Jack Fincher. So this was a script that his father wrote that he always wanted to see produced. And his father passed away a while ago. So this was something that he wanted to bring to get done. And I think that's another reason why it was a little kind of a sideways step for him. Anyways, go ahead.
I think with time, it'll be remembered a little more warmly. But I think it's not what people were expecting. And it was also, I think it was released at a time when we were just all like crazy with content and locked up inside, right? This came out 2020 on Netflix, which is just not, I think, how it should have been released. So I think it had a lot working against it. It was better than I thought it would be. It was certainly better than the game. So if you're going to watch Fincher, but he just has a great filmography. So, and yeah, it's just been fun. Been a good time.
Great. Anything else you want to highlight?
No.
Okay.
Great question. No, thank you.
Well, I forgot to tell you, I did watch Selling Sunset. Oh my goodness. I binge watched that series. Okay. The new season. And I love everything about Selling
Allie,
Sunset.
don't ever tell me how busy you are again. You binge watched
I did, but it's Selling Sunset. And girl, I'm just loving everything. The clothes, the everything about those women.
And loves that show.
I know yeah, but
there are
houses.
7. You watch all 7, like.
Well, no, I've been watching it since it started, but the new season, I just been just the new season. I did. Okay. I every time they have a new season, I do that. I see it for like the whole weekend or one day, and that's all I do. Just watch every episode.
All you do.
Yep.
I don't want to hear that. I don't have time to watch this week's movie.
Right. I do everything else but Noir.
Only one more.
And I was thinking this week, I think it was just yesterday, I'm thinking, okay, this is the last film of this genre, right? And then I'm thinking, wait, no, it's only the 13th of November.
Maybe I really like Black Rain. I don't know.
Black Rain is a very different style movie, so I think you might like it.
I just think I'm tired of seeing naked women. Okay, I don't know why I said that.
I think about naked women. You know what I've been doing the last 2 weeks? I know that's an interesting segue. I've been going through my Russ Meyer film retrospective as well. That's a trip. All the nudie cuties. So
I'm sure you guys are enjoying that. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just like
Is it Valley of the Dolls? He was Valley of the Dolls.
I haven't gotten to that one yet. I'm in the mid 60s right now. Before it really.
Are you going chronologically?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like on YouTube and the Internet Archive. They're all over the place. Yeah. But it's been a trip.
Thank God for Little House on the Prairie, because I go every day after I watch these films. Just go Little House on the Prairie.
You need to send to yourself somehow. I get it. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we have done it all.
We've done it. Not really.
Next week, as we teased, we're going to be watching Black Rain, 1989, from Ridley Scott. Interesting film from him. I'm looking forward to that. So there we have it. So that concludes the show for this week. We sincerely appreciate your listenership. As a final reminder, if you're enjoying what you hear, please consider leaving a rating and review. Your support truly brightens our day. The ideal platforms for this are Apple Podcasts or whichever platform you use to access our content. To stay updated, don't forget to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, Frame Rate Monthly, by sending an email to backtotheframerate@gmail.com. Back to the Frame Rate is a proud member of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Stay connected with us on Facebook and Instagram. We're also we're actually still on Twitter. I haven't mentioned it for a while, or X or whatever you want to call it. And I think there's some other platforms. We're on Threads as well, and our YouTube channel as well. And we have new content that's going up there. A lot more shorts and more fun content. We're utilizing our YouTube channel a lot more. So, and of course, the most effective way to support us is simply by sharing our episodes and our content on your social media platforms. So that is it. The show is over. Goodbye.
Want you to know it's over.
Well, bye.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.